Richard Peterson with you, Primary 7, and we are handling our lesson, that is the first topic, school holidays. We have looked at several structures and we want to have another structure, and this is going directly to one of those easiest ones that we can have together, and that is aside from the school holidays. I always prefer having it here, just to remind you. And then we have our lesson that we have, and that will be talking about question tags. Now, question tags, what are question tags? Right from the word question, and then we have the word tags. A question, something asking, and then the tag, when you talk about a tag, just a short statement. And now when we combine question tags, we shall be talking about short statements, short questions that are always put after a statement, and in most cases, they are basically to give us information, a confirmation of something. And sometimes you ask yourself, or you tell somebody, you went this place, and then ask yourself, am I right? So when you say, am I right? That's you're like trying to bring out a question tag. So question tags bring out confirmation about something, and they are short questions that are put at the end. Now, let's go deep, and first of all, revise the details of question tags. When you're writing question tags, what do you have to base on? There are two things that we have to base on. The first one are the helping verbs. The helping verbs. When you're writing question tags, we have to base on the helping verbs, and these are, you may have helping verbs like the ones in the future. We have will, you can have shall, you can have can, we can have the ones like are, we can have or, we can have question tags like, we can have helping verbs, we can have the do forms, like we have do, like we have does, and very many others. So these are the helping verbs that we use when you're writing question tags. I said we have two items you have to look at. One, the helping verbs, and then the second part, when you're writing question tags, we should be able to remember something to do with pronouns. And the pronouns that are very common: I, he, she, we have it, then we have those ones that are in plural, like we have they. So these are the pronouns that we use when you're writing question tags. Let's go directly and look at a part of the question tag with examples. And I want to start with part A. The part A will be talking about question tags. So let's look at now the first part, and this is basically forming question tags for statements. For statements. What do I mean by statements? This may not require anything to do with the special words, but it's basically statements that are having the subject, which may be in form of a pronoun, and then the helping verbs directly. One thing we have to note here is that when you're looking at the statements, the question tags for this, the two parts, we have the main sentence, and then we have what we call the tag itself, which is in form of a question. This is a short form for question. So there are two forms, two parts of the sentence, two parts of the statement, the main sentence, and then the tag, which is in the question form. Now we may have one which is saying, I will go for holidays. I'll go for holidays. And then we are going to supply a question tag. So one thing we have to note is that when the main sentence is affirmative, writing this to stand for affirmative, the question tag for this case will be negative. So main sentence, affirmative, and then the question tag, negative. And then when you have an example like I'll go for holidays, we have to supply a question tag. So we get the negative from our helping verb, which is will, and having will here, we have to form a negative from will. The negative from will is will not. But for question tags, we are not going to use will not directly here. Instead, we shall form what we call a contraction. And in English, when we talk about a contraction, it's basically a short form of a word that is written using an apostrophe. And for this case, to write the short form of will not using an apostrophe, it will turn to the word won't. So this word won't is a short form of will not, and we call this a contraction. So another thing you have to note is that when you're writing question tags, we use contractions, especially if the question tag is in negative form. So for our case, we shall say, I'll go for holidays, and the question tag here will be won't I, and then because it's a question tag, it will take a question mark. I have to put this right, excuse me, and it will be won't. I'll go for holidays, won't I? Something not to forget, when you're writing the question tag and the main sentence, a comma has to separate the two. So we have a comma. Separate the main sentence from the question tag. I'll go for holidays, won't I? So that is one example that we have. I would like to go to the second example. We have another example. We have that one, and then the second example will be I will not do the homework. I will not do the homework. Now this is our main sentence. I say if you have to supply a question tag, we have to get a comma. So there is a comma there. I will not do the homework. From our rule, when the main sentence is affirmative, the question tag is going to be negative. So for this case, the vice versa. The main sentence is negative, so the question tag is going to be affirmative or positive. And for this case, we shall just say, I will not do the homework. And the question tag will just be, will I? That will be our question tag. I will not do the homework. Will I? That is another example that we have. I want to give as many as possible, so we can be on the same page as regards question tags in this form. We may use the word shall. We shall plan for the holiday. Remember, we are talking about school holidays. So whatever we are talking about here is connected to school holidays. When you have a question that is not connected to school holidays, we still have to apply the same rule with question tags. We shall plan for the holiday. The question tag here would be, we have to give the negative of shall, which is shall not. But like I said earlier on, instead of shall not, we shall have to form a contraction. And the contraction from shall not is shan't. So the question tag here will be shan't plus the pronoun, which is we. Then we say, we shall plan for the holiday. Shan't we? So that is our question tag that is coming from this sentence or statement that we have. Let's try to turn and have another one. We say, we shall not, we shall not do the chores. Probably some stubborn kids, they're not saying, we shall not do the chores. Now this is our statement. We are going to supply a question tag. Being that this is already negative, so the question tag is going to be affirmative. And we shall just say, shall we? So we shall not do the chores. Shall we? Negative, affirmative. Affirmative, negative. Negative, affirmative. I hope you are following. Now we can have the last example here. That is basically talking about first person. And the first person here, oh, I should use blue. The first person here is I. I am going to visit my auntie. Remember, your aunt is your relative. Part of our vocabulary under school holidays. I'm going to visit my auntie. We're going to supply a question tag. Now here we have as a form of helping, verb that is helping us here within the sentence. How do we have to change it? For this case, we have to form a negative of this. Now, this is a special tag that we don't say, I'm not. Instead, for this case, we use the word aren't. So if you have supplied a question tag, I'm going to visit my auntie, the negative of will be aren't. And then our pronoun, which is I. I'm going to visit my auntie, aren't I? Some people prefer saying, I'm going to visit my auntie, aren't I? Wherever. You choose what to use, and you have it. So that is our question tag for this case. Don't make the mistake to say, I'm going to visit my auntie, I? That doesn't make any sense. We say, aren't I, or aren't I? It makes all that for this case. So, this is about the first part, under question tags connected to statements. Now, we're going to have an activity about this, and I thank you so much for listening and following through. Let's have the activity. Okay, so this is our activity for our lesson. Question tags under the first part, that is question tags for statements. Number one, we're going for holidays. We are going for holidays. Or we are going for holidays. That's enough. And then we shall have a comma to separate. And then we shall have, you have to put a question tag. I'll give you the question mark. So you don't forget that. Just supply a tag within that part. And the second one, we shall say, they will do well at the farm. The farm comes in during school holidays, in most cases. Some of you travel to the farm. So they will do well at the farm. What will be the question tag? You fill it in, and then the question mark is there for you, making it easy for you. We can have the holiday. Which holiday? Not very sure. But the holiday was very interesting. The holiday was very interesting. So what will be the question tag? Look at the main sentence, look at the helping verb, and then form the question tag. If it is affirmative, the question tag will be negative. If it is negative, the question tag will be affirmative. We go to the next part and say, still, let's talk about the holiday. Last term's holiday. This is O, excuse me. Last term's holiday was long. Have our comma, then we are going to supply question tag. Number 5. I am going to meet my uncle. What will be the question? The question tag. Something to take note of: when you've been given I am not dash dash, the question tag for this case will not be I, because here we said we shall have all. Here we shall say, if it is am not, then the question tag will be am I. So if we have am not, the question tag will be am I. That will be the question tag. I wanted to bring that so I could remind you not to mess up in case this comes elsewhere outside this topic and this lesson. I thank you for having me. Let's meet in the next lesson.